Today's recipe calls for soy sauce. I'm going to show you how to make homemade teriyaki sauce / glaze. It's super simple and it's delicious. So with that said, let's get started.
The first thing we need to do so we can start this sweet sauciness is dry toast 2 tablespoons of some white sesame seeds. Snag a small saute pan and the little seeds. Take both of these items over to the cooking thingy. Gently place the pan over the heating element, then dump them seeds of sesame in. Crank the hotness level to a medium-low heat. Give the pan a quick shake out to make everything into one nice even layer. Doing this will help ensure we achieve an even toast on all the goods. Occasionally, give the pan a shimmy and shake to prevent things from burning. This process should take 3 to 5 minutes or until the seeds become a nice golden brown color. The surrounding air should also become very fragrant in scent. It'll have a toasted, nutty smell to it. We're shooting for a light toast, but you can toast these for as long as you would like. The darker the toast, the more flavor they will bring to the sauce. Just ensure you don't burn those little suckers. When you have achieved your desired toasted flavor, transfer the goodies over to a half tray. Make them into one even layer to allow them to cool. Set them aside so we can move on to the next step, which is prepping out the fresh ingredients for the sauce. We'll start with 5 to 6 medium to large size garlic cloves. Cut both ends off each piece of clove. Then do the worst task ever and peel all the paper skins off the cloves. Now that the vampire repellent is naked, we need to mince it into super small pieces. Cut the cloves from side to side, making little teeny tiny sections. Once you've done that, give them a quarter churn, then cut them from front to back, making the super small sections once again. Repeat the same steps until all the cloves have been cut this way. When that's been accomplished, make everything into a pile of goods. Using the rocking method, cut them into even smaller pieces. The next fresh ingredient we need to cut is 0.8 ounces or 23 grams of fresh ginger. Peel all the skin off the ginger using a spoon. Get in all those little nooks and crannies of the ginger. We need to mince the ginger into small pieces like we did with the garlic. This time, cut the root into little small round sections of goods. After everything has been sectioned up, make everything into a mound of stuffs. Using the same technique as before, rock your knife back and forth to make small pieces of ginger like we did with the garlic. Mince this stuff until your little heart is content with the size of goods. After all the fresh ingredients have been prepped out, grab yourself a small saucepan that has a thick bottom to it. Take the hunk of metal and the double G ingredients over to the cooking device. Place your pan over the heat source. Then add about a teaspoon of a good neutral tasting oil. Should be enough oil to coat the bottom of the pan. Crank the heat to a medium level of temperature. Allow the oil to become ripping hot. When things are hot and ready to go, drop the garlic into the pan. Things should go sizzle sizzle. Saute the garlic for 30 to 40 seconds or until things become very fragrant in smell. Once you've reached this point, dump the ginger into the pan. Saute the ginger for about 40 to 60 seconds or until things become very fragrant in smell. After the air has become very aromatic in smell, we need to add all the other goods to the pan. Pour in 1 cup or 236 mils of light soy sauce into the pan. Following that, make it rain half a cup or 118 mils of mirin, which is a sweet rice wine. After that's been added, dump in 5 tablespoons of dark brown sugar. Immediately whisk your face off to dissolve the sugar into the liquid. Add in a quarter teaspoon of sesame oil. This stuff is super strong in flavor, so a little bit goes a long way. The last ingredient we need to add in is 3 tablespoons of rice vinegar. This will help counterbalance against all the sweetness in the sauce. Give everything a stir together, then give it a quick taster. Adjust the flavor profile as needed by either adding more acid or sweetness or whatever else you believe it needs. Make it to suit your little taste buds. I wanted mine a little bit sweeter, so I dropped in 5 tablespoons more of some dark brown sugar. So in the end, I added 10 tablespoons total of dark brown sugar. When your salty heart is happy with the flavor of your homemade sauce, bring the pot of liquid to a light simmer, meaning the liquid is barely bubbling at the surface. We need to thicken our sauce a little bit. We'll make that happen by adding a cornstarch slurry in a small holding apparatus, add in 1 1/2 tablespoons of cornstarch, then add in 2 1/2 tablespoons of cold water. Using a mini pitchfork, dissolve the white stuff into the clear stuff. It should look milky looking. Ensure everything is completely combined together before you add it to the sauce. In a slow, steady stream, pour the slurry into the pot with one hand. While you're doing that, you should be whisking it into the liquid with the other hand. Do this until all the slurry has been added in. Whisk the goods for 40 to 60 seconds after it's all been added in. Now allow the sauce to come back up to a simmer once again. This will activate the cornstarch, making our sauce nice and thick. It's some type of black magic or some food science nerdy stuff I don't know about. Anyways, allow the sauce to simmer for 4 to 5 minutes or until it has thickened up. Occasionally, give it a stir up from time to time. We're shooting for our sauce to have a nappe consistency to it, which means if you dunk a spoon into the sauce, then run your fingy down the backside to part the sauce C, it should stay in 2 sections and hold its place on the spoon without coming back together. If you don't feel like burning your finger, you can also put a small amount of sauce on a plate, then tip the plate to one side. Allow the sauce to drip/move to the other side of the plate. It should move in a fairly slow fashion for the right consistency. When it's reached the perfect viscosity, take it off the heat source. To finish the sauce off, add in the toasted sesame seeds from earlier. We need to completely cool the sauce down before we put it away. So grab a baking pan of some sorts or any dish that has high-walled sides to keep the sauce contained. You guessed it. Transfer the sauce from one pan to another pan. Scrape the hunk of metal clean to get all the goods out. Cooling the sauce this way will spread the liquid across a larger surface. This will allow more heat/steam to escape, cooling the sauce down in a more effective/faster way, which is good because nobody has patience to wait while it's cooling down. Give the sauce a stir every once in a while. This will also help release more heat/steam as well. Allow the sauce to cool till it's completely cool to the touch. After the sauciness has been cooled, grab your favorite holding device of choice. I'm using a mason jar, but anything will work as long as it has a tight seal to it. Add the sauce to your device. Ensure you scrape the pan clean. Pop the lids on and toss those things into the fridge for the best storage/shelf life. Simply warm it up when you're ready to eat it. Use this stuff on some salmon or chicken, or carry your jar of sauce everywhere you go so you can add it to all the things that you eat. Whatever you decide to do, just enjoy.
Alright, now that our teriyaki sauce/glaze is done, let's give it the old taste-a-roo. So looking at it, it came out super aesthetically pleasing. Looks like it has a good viscosity to it. Nice and thick, but not too thick. Then those white sesame seeds in there pop really well. Then if you squeeze your eyelids closed, aka squint, you can maybe see some garlic and ginger up in there as well. Looks super tasty, so let's give it a shot. Hard to get the lid off. So, yeah. This stuff came out super dang good. The first thing that hits your palate is that umami saltiness from the soy sauce. We get a bit of sweetness from all that dark brown sugar we added. It's not overly sweet by any means. The mirin brings a super distinct flavor to the table and also brings a little bit of sweetness as well. The rice vinegar helps cut through that saltiness and the umami and the sweetness to make it more of a well-rounded sauce. That fresh ginger and garlic are nice in the background and bring a ton of goodness. Then you might get a little chunk of that ginger, and it's nice and refreshing and brings a ton of freshness to your palate. It's super good. The sesame oil brings a little bit of flavor, but the toasted sesame seeds bring a ton of flavor to the table. They bring a bit of nuttiness and that toasted flavor. Overall, it's just really good. Texture-wise, it has a nice, smooth mouthfeel. Those seeds of sesame bring a little bit of crunch factor to the table, helps break it up, and it's just super good, and I can't wait to try it over some rice. This recipe is super simple to make, and it's way better than any of that store-bought stuff that you could buy. You can also easily customize this thing to suit your needs. Maybe you like a sweeter glaze, so you add a ton more sugar, or maybe you want to spice it up and add some toasted chili flakes or some sriracha, which sounds super tasty. To make a spicy teriyaki glaze sounds really good. But anyways, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching. And I have way more dishes than I should for how easy this recipe was, but I'm not gonna do them because I'm gonna go to a hockey game because it sounds way better than doing stupid dishes. So I don't know, I might just throw it all away. So anyways, we'll see you on the next one. Those white. Our teriyaki sloss, that makes sense. Our teriyaki again with the sloss. It's slightly sick, bruh. A little bit of crunch, so you get a little bit of texture. Some good flavor. Then you might get a phone. Stupid phone. Way more dishes. Way better than any of that store-bought stuff you could buy. Is that right?